I don't make it just to make content. That's not my strategy at the moment. I try to make it so I have something new to share for the people. I don't make it so I try to sell it. I just share it to share my knowledge and let people know what can be done.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who got inspired and follow me on Facebook, ask questions there, and try to get their cars go longer.
Welcome to the Authentic Content Method, and today we have Vesa Tiainen here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I've been following you, Vesa, for quite a while, actually. I think for years. We were talking before this and realized we probably met like 10 years ago at some event, JCI event. And now I've been following you primarily on LinkedIn in my case, and you, in my opinion, you're an inspiration to everybody who's going to do content. So can you tell me, shortly I'll say why, is because you are posting, for me, from an outsider perspective, it's like you are hell-bent on making EVs last longer, drive better. Like you don't accept when you get a new Volkswagen Golf and you notice that with just like fixing something with the tires or lowering the how low it is to the ground, you can get another 3% out of the battery, like the length. So you just keep doing stuff like this and just sharing it with all of us. And I almost felt like, hey, I wanted to start an EV company and just hire you immediately. That's what I felt, because you really know how these things are done. So that's why you're here. So yeah, Vesa, who are you?
Yeah, I'm Vesa Tiainen, automotive engineer and entrepreneur. I have my company Tuneco since 2010, and I design all kinds of new products which you can do or make your cars go further, like you said.
Yeah,
that's what burns all my money, and then I get the money to do that by designing mechanical engineering for companies.
So the big ones, they're not hiring you yet to like make their EVs go longer.
They think they know how to do it.
Yeah, because the thing is that I like about how you do it is that you don't like, you mean, maybe you're a typical Finnish guy, engineer, but like there's no hiding from you. You will show with data. Look, this is what I did. I changed the tire. It was a little bit thinner. I think that was one of your posts. And you can show I'm getting this many more percentages out of the car. So why are we then selling it with the thicker tires if we are so concerned about the length, the range?
The range, yeah. Car design is always a compromise, and car factories make compromises in different aspects. And designing it is not so easy because all the departments of the car company fight. Aesthetics need to look cool, and if you have some kind of tire, it might not look so cool. But on the other hand, they have a lot of options for the cars, and I think at least they should have options for efficiency also. Now they have options only for the looks and performance, but some people are interested how long it actually can go on one charge.
Yeah, I read about
that's what I try to do.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into your method, because like one thing is that what you're trying to do, but I want everybody, why we're here listening is like, how can we do like Vesa? Because what you're doing, like, how many posts are we looking at? You're doing how many posts on LinkedIn? Can you give us a little bit of an outline how much you're doing right now when it comes to content?
I'm not very active on the content. I post on LinkedIn maybe once per week or something like that, and make YouTube videos depending how I find new things to show. I don't make it just to make content. That's not my strategy at the moment. At least I try to make it so I have something new to share for the people, and I don't make it so I try to sell it. I just share it to share my knowledge and let people know what can be done. And there's a lot of people who got inspired and follow me on Facebook and ask questions there and try to get their cars go longer and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I want to stay on this then. So let's go into the method. One thing that you're doing, I analyze this stuff, so that's why I know. But one thing that you're doing because of this is like you're sharing you're giving do-it-yourself advice, and you're doing it from a category level. You're not saying, hey, I'm Vesa, I'm the best, car tuner in the world to make your car go longer. You don't have to say that. You're like, this is how, if you want to do it yourself, this is how you make your car go longer. And you practically give the blueprint. But anybody, what I'm realizing as I'm reading your stuff is that if if I would do all of this myself, that's a career. Like, but I could just hire you to help me. That's what's going through my mind, because you're giving the upper level. You're not selling yourself. You're selling the concept. This is how you make a car go longer. You should get it. Yeah, it's really good to get it go longer. You save the battery. Like, there's so many things that's better by making all these changes. And then from that, I understand that you're a genius with these things.
Far from genius, but semi-smart guy.
Yeah,
But
at least you're persistent.
Persistent I am. I have always a goal that I want to reach with certain cars. Usually it's like 20% more efficient, sometimes 50% more efficient. And depending on the goal, it takes longer time or shorter time to reach that.
Have you gotten a 50% increase? Have you ever gotten close?
Yeah.
50 is insane.
Audi A8 stock fuel consumes 7.2 liters, if I remember correctly, and under 3 liters at 100 kilometers per hour speed was the best consumption. So that was over 50% increase.
And here we're all complaining, people switch their cars, I should get this and this in consumption. It's like, yeah, well, you could mod it and it will do just fine.
Yeah, you can lower any cars or trucks fuel consumption easily 20%. That I have proven many times, that it doesn't matter which car is it, how efficient it's from the factory. I can lower 20% on any car, and at the moment the next car is Tesla Model Y, which is the most efficient car on its class, and one of the most efficient cars you can actually electric-wise buy. But 20% on that car comes actually pretty easy.
I would say then you will have a Tesla VT type, Vesa Tiainen type, which is actually 20% longer range than what you might get otherwise. But so let's get back to the content anyway. You are really good at this stuff, but what I like is that you could have been the same person like you are now. You're really concerned about, you really try and get these really cool challenges for yourself to make them go longer, or get the gasoline consumption lower. That's the same thing basically. But you are communicating this. So could you go through what I mean, I've seen your post, but tell us, to the audience, what is it that you're doing when and how do you create a post? You do it roughly weekly, right? So what's going on when you make a post?
What's going on? I write, like this week I have written about Tixomolding of magnesium wheels. I know it will be the future of wheels, and that's why I'm designing my own wheels.
So wait, can I go one step back? So you have this trend, you have this technical solution that you hear somehow, you learn about. Then you take the next step. You're like, hey, I want to test this. So you come from your own curiosity and interest.
Yeah.
But then it seems like now you take the next step. You're like, you want to share that, right? So you're documenting the experience now as you go.
Yeah, I don't keep it as a secret that I will make magnesium wheels. Yeah. because anybody can do it. Anybody can start making them. Any automotive company at the moment, nobody is using magnesium Tixomolding in wheels at the moment. There's certain limitations that it's not possible for the big OEMs at the moment because they make too heavy wheels. I have the lightest wheels possible for the selected material. So I am able to use that material in my wheels, but nobody else at the moment is not able because limitations are from the machine size. That's at the moment there.
Yeah. Well, but Vesa, so you have this. Yeah, you are really. I love that you know everything about cars. I know that, and especially make them go longer. But I was thinking, so you have this inspiration to do something new. So that the tire was one thing, but also I've seen that you said, okay, I'm going to lower the profile, whatever we call, lower the profile of the car, and you then explain in the post. You show pictures. And sometimes you have video where you're showing, this is how I'm lowering it, this is how much, and then you give graphs, or like I drove the car, 50 kilometers without being lowered, and then you show another graph where you do it with. So what goes through your mind when are you recording this, like as you're experimenting? Are you taking photos? Like, what are you thinking when the content side of this experiment, so to say?
Everything, like I said, I first calculated, I have a goal, 20% for this car. Then I divide it to sections, lowering the car 2 to 3%, wheels and tires 5 to 10%. And I know it already before I start to do it. Can I do it? So it's not a guessing game so much. It's everything is related to physics and mathematics, and I can calculate it. So I can basically calculate any car that how much it can be lowered the consumption with certain modifications. And because I have some test data from outside reports and stuff like that, then I can share some of those in the then results why it has happened. Like if you lower the car 40 millimeter, drag coefficient drops 0.01. That's a semi-fact to me at least.
Well, what is your...
So there is the reasons why things happen when you change the wheels and tires, and why it lowers in the final solution 12 to 15% consumption.
Yeah, and that is
because
why
I have calculated it, and it's not like a guessing game that I shake like this and then comes 10%. No,
Yeah.
no.
No, you don't, you know what you're doing before you even implement it on the car. But what we are hearing here from a content perspective is that you are sharing your logic behind every decision. Like you're going in, not only, you know, we can say open the hood to look inside of the car, but you are basically opening the hood of your brain, showing like this is how this is done. This is how I calculate it. This is the reason. This is like the mechanics and the physics behind it. So you allow me as a, I mean, your customers will not necessarily be physics experts, but you're allowing me to realize, okay, I don't have to know all the underlying mechanics, but I understand, like, okay, Vesa, you give me enough insight for me to feel that I'm a little bit smart, but I know that you really know, because that makes me trust you. Like I don't have to know everything, but I know you give me enough insights. Like, okay, Vesa really knows what he's doing because he's sharing the process. Now, but I'm curious, when you're writing, like, do you just sit down and write? Like how the whole process of creating this? Yeah.
My videos are almost always one shot and go. I have no memos. What I would tell. I have sometimes the PowerPoint, and then I tell the PowerPoint through. I try to be it one shot and go, but almost always have problem with my headphones and sound is not coming thanks to Microsoft products. They don't work. So I have to take 2 or 3 times the same video.
Oh my God.
And then it's just one go. There comes some parts which I have to edit and shoot it again. Like in the beginning of the week, my cough was so bad that I started coughing too much, and I had to do it again.
Yeah.
But so I don't have memos. It just comes from my head, everything, and the process comes as it goes.
Yeah.
So it's not anything is not written for sure. Yeah. I might have sometimes few bullet points, but usually never nothing.
When do you decide like now is the time to actually record?
That again is then different story. Sometimes if like I said, I have many projects going all the time. It's not just the wheels. There's many other things. Depending on the mood is mainly the thing. Yeah. Or if I have just got the results on the tire testing, I have to share it. I cannot sleep otherwise.
Yeah.
So that's the motivator also then. But it's a long process, like for the wheels and tires, for example, and I want to be 100% sure that I don't create products that don't keep the promises, because it's easy to say I have calculated it will save 20%. Now I'm at 10% at the moment in the savings. I know there's 2 to 5% more that can be saved, but I haven't been able to test it yet because winter came too early, and now I haven't been able to test the winter tires, which I have bought too many sets, and more is coming. And hopefully in the next month, I'm able to test more. In the first test, there were problems with the smaller wheel sizes, and hopefully next test, I'm able to actually test the tires, which I have bought 2 to 3 months ago.
So I want to, so I want to stay on this then. So one good inspiration source is when you get the results that you preferably proves or proves what your hypothesis. You now feel so excited, like, yeah, I got it, like, yes. And now, like, I want to share, because you have this positive rush of emotions I want to share to the world, that the thing I thought in my head and now I did with my hands, it actually showed in the end result that I could do it. And I guess maybe your challenge, as you said, you put up a challenge, like 20%, you say any car can do 20. So I like it when you might put a target like I'm going to do 25 or 30 or 40. I guess you look at the car and you can get an idea that how much you can save based on the style. But
If I look a car, I know the consumption it gets. I can from that calculate how much lower it basically you could get. What is wise? Then it depends how much money and effort you want to put it.
Yeah.
Like 20% comes like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. In some cars, you need more modification depending at what level the car manufacturer is in the aerodynamics and efficiency side. But everything is possible.
Yeah.
But what's challenging is that why aren't the companies doing that? Why? I went to say this week, in the early week, went to see the new BMW i5. And in the rear, there was a really big aerodynamic mistake. And now I'm trying to solve, does the air suspension that the car has solve it? But there was this big mistake in the rear lower arm, and that's bothering me now.
And that would be like, I don't know, 5% lost just from
about 1% or something like that. But 1% is a lot. If you could have done it better. I don't know. Was the bumper there some performance model where they don't care? Now I'm trying to find where does that mistake come, because that was a clear mistake on my mind. Or was there something else behind it that I didn't see on the test car, because that was the first car I saw.
I like how to get you like sleepless nights is to release a car with a 1% aerodynamic mistake. They would be like,
no, there were more, but that was like a clear mistake on my eye. And now try to find more cars to see, is it same on all of the cars, or was it just one car?
Yeah. And I guess, as you said, it's always this thing, there's a compromise between style and performance and things like this. So it's not like sometimes they just make it. But on the other hand, I'm with you. Sometimes you wonder, like, you didn't have to do that. Doesn't make it look that much better. And you just reduce the.
That's not even visible to the eye. So it should be only about the efficiency. So that's the biggest mystery there. But I will probably find it out sooner or later.
Yeah. What I like about you and the content that you're doing, and it comes out as we're talking as well, is that when we think about content in the marketing world, we think that it should just, content sounds like food, or it just should be something. It's just something. But Vesa, you're not doing something. You're doing research. You're checking if something's going to work, and you're giving us the whole thing. Like it's almost like every post you're doing is part of a thesis or something. Like it's not a full thesis, but you're like, this is how I thought. Here's the data. There's the tests I did. Here's the wheel I ordered. It was wrong. That's why it didn't work. I have to reorder the wheel. Like you go through a little bit of the how it was. It's also a little bit what I call gossip, is to understand the process. Like I didn't necessarily have to know that the wheel you got was wrong, but I still like to know sometimes if you add a little touch to it. I think it was when you was it you who also ordered a car that was damaged when you got it? And you were fighting with the car manufacturer. Why did you send me a premium? Yeah, a premium car, and then it had obvious like dents when you got it. So, but stuff like this.
Yeah, minor mistakes, but my first new car I bought, and it was not as good as my old Audi.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have an eye for detail, I gotta tell you, because that's what we're learning here. But I love that you are sharing. I think you come, maybe it's you're like almost ideological, that you're doing this from a higher purpose. Like the car should be extremely well made. And if you, with only one person resources, can do that compared to a multinational enormous company, then it sounds like you're almost offended. Like, why don't you do it? Because I can do it, then you can do it. Right?
I would like them to challenge me more. Let's put it that way.
We should have that. That should be a new thing, like the Vesa challenge, Vesa Tiainen challenge, and see if any of the big manufacturers can beat you. That'd be fun, to have a.
I would like to have an engineering challenge. Like I would like to challenge all of the car manufacturers to design a better wheel, which is lighter than my wheel. That's like something fun to spend time. Because I know at the moment I have the lightest wheel, but if some best engineers out there actually start doing it, could they do better? That I would like to, because then you learn something new. Because if you look, like I have looked all the wheels out there and what they're doing now, I know what they are doing, but why don't they do better in that area also? Because again, if I can do it better, I'm sure somebody else could do it also better.
Well,
it's same for all of the parts in the car. You can design any part better if you know what you're doing.
Maybe they are not so interested in being first. I think they are very interested in being second. They don't want to be third, but they don't want to be first. I get the feeling that they're trying to be their risk management. Like they're just they don't spend, if they don't have to spend that money on development, they see somebody else do it. They're like, oh, let's do that same thing. I think that's why all the cars like look the same. I was even mistaking a Skoda for a Tesla. On the way the Skoda backside looks now on the electric Skoda compared to the bigger Tesla, I call it the fat Tesla. I don't know what the real name is.
X or S.
Yeah, it doesn't look sporty. It looks like family version. That one, the backside, I was like, I told my kids, I was walking like, oh, that's a Tesla. I was like, oh, it's not. It's not a Tesla. And that they just stole. Just stole the back design. They just stole it. No.
That comes from aerodynamics, that all the cars start to look pretty much the same.
Yeah. Is that why the electric ones have a shorter, what's called a nose on the car? I noticed it's quite short. Like the gasoline cars have a quite long nose on the front.
That's main reason is that you don't need the space for the engine, and you can use it for the inside of the car, because most electric cars, they have much more room inside the car.
Yeah, because the engine and all the exhaust and everything takes so much space, and you have the engine in the wheels, basically. That's where the engine is.
Yeah. And the motor is small, so you can pack it, and you can have even cargo space under the bonnet or hood.
One thing that you did for me, that when you wrote about the wheels, I had no idea how much the wheels had impact. And then I started reading myself on the impact of the wheels based on your post. And apparently the thick wheels, I had my Jaguar XF that I'm now getting rid of. But anyway, it had really thick back wheels. Like it looks cool. Wide, yeah, they're wide, yeah, correct. They're wide on the side. And then I was looking at it, and what you said, for example, you didn't even use really wide ones. You talked about like just shortening that with some inches, get a little bit thinner.
Yeah.
And then you said like how much it saves, and then I started reading on it. It's like these wide ones are complete stupidity. Like they are only maybe for race cars, they might make sense to get extra grip or something, but it's worse in the winter conditions because the wider ones don't go through the slush very well. There was something, and it's heavier consumption, more sound. I mean, I don't know. There was practically
there is not many positive impacts if you don't count the looks or aesthetics on the positive impacts on the wide wheel, especially on winter use.
Yeah.
But it's not so easy matter either. Engineering perfect, I would say. Especially tire design is like the king of engineering design, I would say, at the moment, because more you start to know, the less you actually know. Everything impacts on the performance of the car. But it is true that narrower tires are good for efficiency, and narrower tires can be performing even as good as the wide sporty tires. It's again then engineering challenge how you make it happen, and that's what I'm trying to prove. It's not just the efficiency side that I can save 10 to 15%. I want to prove that they can be as safe, sporty, and things like that. Plus you get the benefits on the noise and stuff like that. But the handling of the car shouldn't be compromised if you use narrow tires. That's what I'm also trying to prove, and that's a little bit trickier on the winter, and that's why I need to design my own studded winter tires for the Tesla, because there isn't many available for that big size. So again, I haven't never studded any tires myself so far, but hopefully in the next few weeks I will. And
we will have a video about it soon enough, I think.
There will come a video how to do it yourself. It's again a challenge.
It's insane. You're almost insane, Vesa. You're like, I'm gonna stud my own tires. It's so cool.
Nah, I just changed the studs, but
but normal people would never consider that even possible.
You cannot say that you know winter tires unless you have studded tires. Then you become you can see the problems what it might have. and from that you can design it better.
Yeah.
Unless you try it, is it any engineering thing, welding? If you haven't welded, you cannot teach welding.
Yeah, that's true.
So you first need to do it, and then you can start thinking how it could be. I already know what I will try, how to make it better.
Mm.
I don't know, has the tire companies tried that way, but I will see, does it work or not. Those results, again, might not be published, depending how good I think the
Yeah,
idea.
if you suck at it, you're not gonna. You're gonna
No, if I think, like for the wheels, I cannot release yet the design. I haven't yet applied for patents. There will come
Oh yeah, there are
multiple
reasons
patents.
like that, of course. Yeah.
So I cannot show that side, and some of the tests I cannot also show. I test much more stuff than you see on the videos on the tires. So it's there's always some background testing going there, which is just for me and just for my own computer, and there I can design how the like nail proof tires work.
Yeah.
Tested already 4 years ago, and hopefully it will be implemented in the electric car tire.
Very cool. Vesa, what you're telling me here is that your way of being a human, like you're continuously experimenting and testing, and you're documenting, like when you do your test, it's with numbers, and that creates, I think it creates a really good like warm up, or you have a ready dish of things to talk about because you have these experiments that you're doing, and you have all the data. So as soon as you have some interesting results that you know, patent pending, can prove or explain, is show people like, hey, this is how you make a nail-proof tire, for example. You might, let's say you're allowed to say that. You can say, this is how I did, here's experiments, here's the data. So you're sitting on, I don't know how many continuous experiments that you're you know, working on. And as soon as you have a solution for one of them, you can then publish that to the world, if it's not the patent stuff. Is that a good understanding of your
if I would be able to sell something, actually, I would have already over 30 products that would be already on the market.
Yeah.
But I suck at that at the moment.
Well, we might be able to help you somehow, Vesa. But because I think people listening to this, they gotta check you out. I mean, this is a mainly audio format, so I will have to show what this looks like because it's hard to explain what your post looks like. But you are clearly explaining how things are done extremely well based on the data. You've done it yourself, and every week or so you're going to have some new results, and when you get them, you just share them to the world, either to recording on your YouTube channel, or you're writing something for a LinkedIn post with pictures to explain, this is what I tested, this is how I did it. And for me, I'm talking about being known, liked, and trusted, and like doing it authentically. Like that's, I think I use you as an example to other people, because especially when I talk with, well, it could be anybody, but they say, I want to work in this industry. I want to be a social media marketer or something. I'm like, okay, so show me what you've done. And they're, no, I don't have any social media. I just want to work in it. I'm like, what? How am I supposed to trust you if you only have selfies? Like, it doesn't make sense for you. You're showing like, I can make a better car than BMW. Challenge me. You know, that's how good you are, and you're showing it. You're showing the receipt. I do this stuff. So if anybody does that behavior, now if there's an opportunity for some job, I mean, if you and somebody else apply for a job for an aerodynamic something designer at BMW, you'd at least have a good chance. Let's say like that, because you're probably better than with the people they have, and you can prove it. Even if they say I studied at prestigious university, you can say, yeah, fine, I have 100 experiments that I've published here on LinkedIn, here they're on YouTube. You know, look which one ever you want. So. So it's
Hopefully soon a book, 100 modifications to save energy, but that takes some time.
Loving it. You see, this is great. All of you listening, listen to Vesa. Vesa, you know, you're nothing special, and like from a marketing perspective, but he's just channeling his desire to make something amazing into posts, into videos, and possibly now even into a book. Why are you doing this, Vesa? You don't have to. Why are you sharing all this information?
It's just my passion, and I'm keen to learn always something new. It doesn't matter, and I want to be a better engineer every day. And almost always the best ideas, they don't come your own area of expertise. If you design a rifle suppressor, which is nothing related to cars, I can and I will use it in automotive design.
Yeah.
If you design your own trailer house, some of the packaging things you see there can be used somewhere else and stuff like that. If you design your own home speakers, again, the challenges are different. You try to get as uniform sound coming there as possible. Compared to the noise suppressor, you need to make the noise less. So total obvious things that you're engineering, and both are needed in the cars, in different places of the cars. And if you don't do that, then you don't know what I know.
Yeah.
And all the time, I try to search then if I see something has broken, like this week, some cargo bike here in Germany and Netherlands broke down.
Oh, okay.
And all the bikes are now pulled out of the market, and they try to find a solution why it broke down. I already did like a few years ago why Yopo bike broke down. Similar thing, and I calculated it just for interest to see why it broke down. And I try to do it same with this bike also, to learn what did they engineer wrong that it doesn't hold, because I'm also engineering bikes in a way.
Do you tag them? Do you tag when you check a certain company? Do you tag the company to show what the?
Yeah, I have of course tagged at least a Yopo post.
Yeah.
I tagged that so people could find, because you could actually hurt by that.
Yeah.
Or
Vesa, now you got some muted somehow. So you were just saying about you had a bicycle, it broke, one of these cargo bikes broke, and you're gonna do an analysis, and I said you can maybe tag them. And you said you did with the Yopo, the Finnish bike, which like it's practically dangerous to ride.
yeah.
And that you said that's where I lost you. So do you want to?
Yeah. Then I did similar study on Woolly trailer on Technical Maailma test. Their axle went down, and I did the study on that also. If you're an engineer, you can do pretty much a lot if you just have a picture where you have one dimension which you actually know. Like if it's a broken trailer picture, you know the wheel size. It's 14 or 15 size. You can see it from picture. And from that, you can scale all the components there. You can 3D model it. Then you can FEM calculate it. And there you get your results, that what actually happened.
Do you think they did it themselves? Like, why didn't the engineers do that before? I'm wondering why didn't they?
Sometimes they don't test as thoroughly as magazines test. Concerning this cargo bike, they said that there has been many years already in Netherlands that the bike has failed. The manufacturer has said that it has been extensive use. You don't know, has somebody abused the bike, so too much.
Of course, yeah.
But in many cases, they haven't just calculated it with the worst case. Like for bikes, if you're braking hard and you ride on the curb, your front is locked, the whole force and how much speed you have goes to the frame. Like that's one of the worst cases. Same for cars. If you brake and you drive in a bump, it's much more stress than you just brake on the road and everything is fun and shiny.
So they just like hope, just like let's hope nobody ever breaks into a curb and the bike will be fine.
Yeah. Because nobody who tests the bike, they don't probably test the worst case either.
Yeah, they should have test pilots. They should have like people who like, let's see what this bike can do.
Yeah. I tried to acquire a bike of that frame and break it myself, but I didn't find any of those for sale. I would have just put hockey gear on and make a video how it breaks when I jump here.
Yeah, you can predict like I'm this heavy. This is how high it is. This is gonna break.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But Yopo bikes, those of you who are like not from Finland, but they look like somebody designed it to be like not nice to the rider. They look funny, but the wheels are like super small. It's a very strange bike. It's not for transportation. I think it's for style choice only. It's what yeah. Let's see, something to finish off with. I think that this behavior of testing and sharing your results. No, yeah, the question is also why are you sharing this? Why not keep this secret? Why not just do this yourself?
I like people to lower their car's consumption. That's if they can do it themselves easily, 10% or more, why not share it? Because it's not benefiting nobody if I know stuff and I don't tell anybody. And that data, in most cases, it's already somewhere there on the internet. It's not probably in some form that you can easily say that if I now put a grill block in the winter of the car, I will save 5%. It's hard fact that will happen, but if you don't tell people, they don't do it because they think it's not needed.
Yeah, and you tell it in a like a normal person language. Even though when I'm talking here, you have all this data and stuff, but you're telling it like I can understand. Like you're not good. Yeah.
I saw how it's done. Like for the grill blocks, I know I saw a video how you actually do it. You have a 3mm plastic and you have a knife and a drill. That's what you need.
Yeah. And then you have success.
Or something else, but that's what I recommend using.
Yeah. I was actually using this winter blocking now when the wind, like putting in the grill to just block for the cold wind. Because I was realizing like, but the engines never got warm when it was like 20 minus here. I used to, the engine just scream like working its ass off to stay warm, and it's never even picking up, you know.
And in Volkswagen cars, the temperature meter shows half, even the engine is 65.
So I mean, like, is it right or wrong? How much wrong?
Tricking you to think that it's now warm, even it's actually 25 to 30 Celsius too low. So driver thinks everything's okay, and your consumption is higher. And it's also for the grill blocks in the winter. If your battery is in the engine bay, it doesn't charge, and then one morning you try to start and click is only the new gear
Because it's too cold.
So yeah, it haven't loaded if you drive short distance, or even if you drive long distance and it's too cold, the battery doesn't take no energy inside.
Because it's getting cold wind on it all the time, so it's getting much colder than it should be, so it cannot charge when even when you place the car, the battery has to warm up basically.
Efficiency or the consumption, it impacts also in diesel cars. Your diesel fuel can freeze, so it prevents you from many failures on the road also. So that's why I recommend it.
Yeah. Well, now I feel good because I have it. I'm like, yeah. I have those ones that I can buy, so like maybe they're not as cool as yours that you would do. Yeah. But yeah, I have a maybe last question here about sharing. When you share this information, are you getting any feedback or like bouncing ideas or something? Because that could be a benefit to share, that other people come with comments and they help you think from a new perspective or something like this.
I wouldn't say there's many creative comments that I could tend to think, yes. There are some comments that like this week engine is now dying because I'm driving 6th gear 1000 RPM. That was one comment this week.
And how is engine doing if you drive 6,000 RPM? Like I would guess it wouldn't like it.
1000 RPM, so I was driving in idle on the 6th gear, proving that I have the most efficient engine map in my car.
Nice. Well, you prove you give the receipt. I think that's a summary here for everybody. Vesa doesn't just say stuff.
That normally that low RPM, it's just proving. Show me that you can do it better. Again, that normally your engine starts to stall at 1,400 RPM or something like that.
Yeah.
But mine can go 1,000 RPMs and it's not dying, I would say.
Yeah, it's technically possible with yours. Well, so yeah, I learned something like this. I think that we do some case studies and stuff in the company that we're looking at, but I'm realizing if I would be as good as you are, I gotta prove every experiment I do, every test that I do, I should show it. I should like this, we did this, if there's at least positive results. We did this thing, positive results. Here's how this is how we did it. like give the blueprint to how something was done, because they're not going to copy, even if they might copy it, but no, like that's not. But if they do, congratulations, that's great for you. But for me, when I work with customers, it's the people who can't or won't do it themselves. They are the ones who are going to be customers.
Most cases, depending what you do, but it's not something that comes easily in most cases.
Yeah, your stuff is real complicated. Like my stuff is sometimes complicated, but what you do is really.
I've done some videos and it's not always so easy. Like now we had some problems again with the headphones. It's always
Microsoft. I guess that's the next engineering project for you. Like, how do I make these things that's going to work?
I really would like to design a working printer. I haven't yet seen one.
That might be the only thing that we humans cannot make is a functioning printer. Could be. Yeah.
I know it's talents, but
I think Vesa, if you want a Nobel Prize, that's the one. It's got to be the printer who prints. It's going to be the whole. I thought, oh my God, it's amazing.
You don't have to stand with one leg. You just press and it prints. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be a dream. All right, well, Vesa, is there anything else that you want to share with us before we end this recording?
Thanks for having me on this podcast, and keep tuning your cars. You can learn every day something new. That's how you get forward.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Vesa, for coming. Appreciate you.
Thank you.